Hey guys, Chris Russell here, back again, founder of the Next Level Mastermind Intensive and creator of the Epic Life, where we show entrepreneurs how to get paid what they're worth online. And the last part here today I'm going to do is a part about stories and how to sell through stories, the art of story selling. And what I'm going to do is I'm just quick introing you to what you're going to learn, and then a video is going to come on that is actually a piece of a recording that I did for my inner circle next level mastermind, and showed them how to use this and do stories. And it's a quick 5 point hack. You're going to see it and have it explained to you there, but I'm just going to go run through. You see it here now: the opening, story of struggle, journey of discovery, the discovery revealed, and the call to action. And I'm actually going to break down in that training. Now, it's kind of lengthy, but it actually breaks down everything about what you need to know about telling stories through blog posts, through social media, through videos, through ads, all kinds of different ways. But this is how you influence people to take advantage of your product or service or company or system or whatever the case may be. This is how you do it. I'm going to show you that 5 point hack on the next page. The video is kind of lengthy, but it's going to explain it all. So stick with me. And after that, I'm going to come back on and I got something special for you. Okay. See you then. Okay. So I'm going to go through these real quick and then I'll give you a basic outline of each one. So the opening, real simple. You're opening to where you're essentially, that's what's going to keep people there to read the rest, right? Then you go into your story of your struggle. That's where you talk about your problems and everything that you struggled up until you found your solution. The next point is your journey of discovery. Journey of discovery is when you found the solution to your problem and how it worked for you, and the whole way that it happened, how you saw it, how you saw the solution. Okay? The discovery revealed is essentially the breakdown, the whatever it is that you discovered. Let me tell you a little bit more about it. Like Amy was talking about, it's those three things, or that one thing, that one missing piece. You actually give it some kind of structure, something that becomes solid in a person's mind, so that they feel like you gave them some meat, but they need more. But if it's just really fluffy and you don't really get specific about three things, then it's a problem. And then obviously the call to action, and that is, there's a certain way to do that. So I'm going to go through these in more depth now, and this is how simple this can be. When you're opening up, that simply means that you're going to take, who you're targeting, and you're going to mention it in there. Now, my example was I'm bridging to realtors. I'm targeting specifically realtors. So the realtors is the precise interest and who I'm targeting. They're one and the same. And then I was basically like the benefit, which is how I created a six-figure income as a realtor, learning these marketing strategies. Now my headline was actually different, but that's the idea, right? And that was my basic opening. And before I finished off, I had the open loop that said, in the open loop, that's setting the stage. That's simply giving someone the right, clear expectation of what they're going to learn about and hear about in the story. And so what I normally say is, this is the true story of how I, whatever benefit, how I accomplished this, or how I did this, how I overcame this. And that's all I really said was, this is the true story, how I overcame, being in debt and creating a six-figure income in my real estate business and learning these marketing strategies, and how I applied it to other income streams as well, or something like that. That essentially gave someone the expectation of what they're going to learn and what they're going to find out about. So as another example, I used the law of attraction, and my famous ad that worked really well, which that headline still works well to this day because Kayala copied it, but you got to wait a long. He waited like 10 months, before he used it from the last time I used it, so it probably worked again. So wait another 10 months. But mine was, how the law of attraction didn't work for me for 15 years until now. And so I used the law of attraction as my target market and my precise interest. And then I said how I missed this one piece of the puzzle that stopped me from achieving, all these things. And now I live a life that, is like this, with, success beyond measure, achieving my dreams, living in a vacation destination, all the cool things that my life is about now. That's the open loop. And the last part of it is, you say, now before I show you what I learned, right? So, the benefits, the marketing strategies for realtors. Before I teach you the strategies, law of attraction, before I teach you the missing piece, let me tell you how I discovered this. then I'll break it down for you as to how it works, because you got to understand it. And I think even in one of my ads, I often say, in order to understand what I'm going to teach you, you have to understand how I discovered this. And that makes them go, oh, okay, well, I have to read the story then. And then I just go right into the story of struggle. So before we go forward, I just want you to stop, pause, think about that for a second. What profession are you? What is your job? What do you do? What are your hobbies? What do you love? What are you into? What are you most passionate about? If you can find that type of an audience on Facebook, then you can write a headline around that. And if you haven't had success yet, you can talk about others who have, and that you stumbled upon people who are doing this. You stumbled upon Chris, who is doing this. You don't have to say my last name so they go Google me or anything like that. You stumbled upon Amy, a single mother, who's doing this, and she has these type of results. If you want to find out how she had these results, click here. That's the end of the ad. That would be your call to action. So you don't necessarily have to have success with this stuff. A story. You can tell a story about somebody else. You can tell your story of watching someone else rise to success. I told the story about how I watched Dave go from being homeless in a van to being who he is. And it worked fairly well. I did it early on. I know more now. Had I known what I know now, I would have tweaked that ad. It would have worked a lot better. I should actually go back and do that. Anyways, so this is what I'm talking about. It's not that hard. Think about that. So the setting the stage part, the open loop is, this is how I found this person who is doing this and has this result. You can do a human interest story on somebody else and just tell it from your perspective and what you saw and any interaction that you had. Michael, it may have been like you told your story and you're basing it on Amy, and you're saying, look, I had that one conversation with Amy, and she told me these 3 things. That's the breakdown. That's the whole, discovery revealed. So let's put this together. Your story of your struggle is really about all the things that caused you to join, and when you found the solution, caused you to join Empower, iPass, or whatever in the first place, or even getting in the industry. It may have been another company at the time, or whatever. And don't use company names in your ad. That's a violation of Facebook's terms and conditions. Okay, but it doesn't matter. But it's talking about the struggles and the problems and the challenges you faced. Now, for a lot of you who have seen my trust, value, and authority training, I talk about how do you build trust. You build trust by speaking about the same challenges and struggles and problems you had. And when those people had those same problems, challenges, and struggles, they're starting to connect with you, and they're like, oh, this person is one of us, and they understand me. They had the same problems. I can trust them. Funny how that works, because that actually doesn't make any damn sense as to why they should trust you. But it does. Someone's like, wow, they know where I'm coming from because they've been where I was at, or they've been where I am at right now. That's what matters. That's your story of your struggle. For me, it was like I was in real estate and I was working all the time. I had no time. I burned out. My doctor told me my adrenal glands were like I was a 50-year-old. I had adrenal fatigue. I couldn't do the one thing that made me money anymore. And so, I had to go to work in a job as a truck driver in a gold mine, just driving a dump truck all day long and boring. And this was the problems I had in my life. Then I was working all the time. I was working the night shift, had no time. I still wasn't getting any healthier, and I couldn't still pay my bills because I had all these bills racking up. It's the same stuff for everybody. It's financial problems. And the problems that manifest from not enough money or not enough time. That's it. All problems in life come down to 3 things: money, health, or relationships. That's it. And so you just tell your story in the way that money and that health and that relationship affected you. And it doesn't have to be all 3. It can be just 1, or it can be 2, or it can be a combination of all 3. So you're just talking about your story, and just be authentic, be real. You don't have to tell everything. That's the other thing here, okay? You have to tell the parts that are relevant, because here's the other part about this. When you're going to go back to your story, you're going to hear the parts that are like, well, if I was not this person, if I was reading this, what parts would I say so what about? Like, get to the point. Like, what does this mean? How is this relevant to me? So
when you write your first story, you're going to find that you'll probably cut out about half or three quarters of what you write because you're like, oh, okay, that was for me to say, but that's not necessarily for them to read. And this is just a learning process by doing stories and seeing what people respond to. And normally, in your story of struggle, there's one defining moment where you've talked about your problems, and then you simply have this first person statement that you're going to put in quotes that says, you know, this is when you finally had this decision or this one thought that made you change the direction of where you were going. And it's normally something like, I've got to find a better way. You know, you could say, as I sat down on this bench in my break from work, and I just thought to myself all my problems, and I finally said to myself, I've got to find something better than this, or there's got to be more to life than this. There's got to be a better way. In quotes, first person statement, because you're summing up your experience of your whole struggle as to what you're gonna do about it. And that statement leads you into your journey of discovery. So here's what I said in one of mine. In my law of attraction story, I said, you know, I've got to find a better way. And I finally mustered up to the universe and I said, I'm ready for whatever's next for me to create my dreams. I'm open. And then I said below it, little did I know that by saying that, the next thing would be one of the most important critical points of my life. And then I said, and then I got a call from my buddy Dave. And so starts the journey of discovery. And then you just simply say and tell the story of how you discovered this. It may be that, and then I was sitting on Facebook and I saw someone write this story about how they overcame all these things. And they were just like me, normal, just like me, same problems, just like me. But they found a way to make extra money online using this system. Using, you know, and they learned these three things. And this is what they said to me. And I took it and I went with it and I worked it and I applied it and I found out this stuff could really work. Or they showed me, they said to me, if you do it like this, they said these four things: build a list, market to that list, you know, sell that list, follow up with that list, these four things. I was like, whoa, wow, okay. And they're doing that and it works. Okay, cool. So your journey of discovery doesn't have to take that long, but the journey of discovery has to include the benefits of either the person that showed it to you, if you're not successful yet. If you've had some results, speak of your results, or speak of both. This person showed it to me and they were having all these results, and in the short amount of time that I have had that I've done this, I've had these results. In this short amount of time, I've done this. Even an extra $1,000, an extra $500. I have an extra $200 a month coming for me right now. That makes all the difference in the world. I can pay my electric bill. That's the big thing. It's not just about money. Money actually doesn't work that well. It's what you do with that money. It's what it looks like. That's why Amy's story, Amy actually didn't say anything about how much she made at her speech in Orlando. If you guys watched that video, she talked about, I got to take my kids to Disney World. I got to take them shopping at Macy's. Was that Macy's? Wherever it was, Amy couldn't remember. Nordstrom's. Shopping at Nordstrom's. Very important difference. And so you talk about the things like what I did is, look, hey, I had the time freedom and the freedom to be able to work from my laptop that I moved up to a vacation destination in the mountains around all the ski resorts to enjoy skiing. And most people are like, gosh, I wish I could do that. I'm stuck where I'm at because I got to drive to my job every day. I don't have enough money to live up there. I don't have enough money to be able to live around that expensive mountain. Summit County is like the second most expensive county in all of Colorado, next to Vail County, which is right next to me, Eagle County. And we have the most expensive medical costs in the nation here in Summit County. I freaking live here. I mean, if I actually said that, yeah, I can afford to live here. How awesome is that? So the journey of discovery is simply talking about how you discover the solution and talking about the benefits. So how does this translate? Who you're targeting, and the precise interest, which is one and the same, right? The story of your struggle, talking about the problems. During the discovery is the solution and the benefits to the solution. The solution, benefits. It's not hard. Why do we gotta make it so complicated? Why do we have to spend months to make a story? It's not that hard. The discovery revealed. So here's what they taught me. They told me I had to have these three things: the right system, the right mentor, and the right mindset. And they gave me resources for all three, and I got the right mentor. Now I know what I have to do. Discovery revealed. It can be one missing piece, one piece, three things, five things. It could be something that's a symbol, something that has a solid picture in their mind, something that is accountable. Okay, so you can account. One thing, three things, five things is something that has a tangible value to it. Three can be measured. So a better way to put it is this needs to be measured in some way. It can be three things, one thing, this one thing, five things, seven quick things. I wouldn't really go much over that. Use the odd numbers, they work better. And or you can get creative with that, but make sure it can be measured. Okay? And it's cool because what you saw in the first part of this training, where I showed my bridge video and the three things that people get, my story ad had almost the same thing with my breakdown of the three things. Shocker. Congruency. It's that simple. And then the call to action, which is, now, as a part of my gift to you, here's why I'm doing this. I'm sick and tired of seeing people struggle with these problems that I had. I can't stand to see it. Okay? So you're reiterating the problem, and then you tie it to the benefits. Again, I was so sick and tired of working every single day, working these long hours, being so burnt out. I couldn't be able to do anything else. I had no time for my family. I had no extra money. And then I realized if I took this solution, what these other people have done is they've done this. They've been able to, by the same problems and had the same problems, they took this solution and they got these benefits. And then they were able to quit their job. They were able to have more free time. They were able to take their kids to Disney World. They were able to move to the mountains. They were able to move out of their parents' house, you know, stuff like that. And that's just tying the problems to how the solution solved it and the benefits it gives you. The aspirations of people. The aspirations. And then the last part really is, and I wanted to be able to help people with these problems. And if you have these types of problems, this can solve it for you. So you have two choices. You can A, do nothing and have the same problems tomorrow that you have today. Or B, you can take action, learn the discovery that I'm revealing to you on the next page, clicking the link, and have a chance for tomorrow to be different. That's it. That simple. My first story I did in 35 minutes. And it actually worked really, really well. I did get lucky. But I went back and I looked at what I did and started to break it down and went, oh, wow, okay. But isn't it cool and isn't it funny that if you were talking to somebody and they asked you about this, Isn't it funny that if they asked you to tell them they asked you to tell them the story, you would naturally follow this anyway. I'm only telling you and showing you what you actually already know. Because you're not going to tell someone, the call to action before you tell them the story of struggle. Did I say that right? You're going to follow this. You're going to tell the struggles before the solutions. Because if you tell the solutions first, it's like, well, wait a second, why are those solutions? Solutions to what? So a story follows this progression anyway. And the call to action, the discovery revealed, is like the moral of the story. yourcapturepage.com. At the end of your link. Cool bonus. P.S. This is the part where you increase engagement. You always want to up the amount of engagement you have with your audience. That's why I hopped on this Hangout, to engage with you guys, right? I enjoy it. I love it, right? I missed it, honestly. So I was like, I told Amy, I'm itching to do something where people are there. I want
today too. I'm like, it's Tuesday. Hanging out on Tuesday.
It's funny how we did this at the exact time we used to do our normal Hangouts, huh? It's like old habits die hard, right? So, P.S. I'm not going to write all that out. Here. Feel free to reach out to me if you've had these same problems in your life. Maybe I can help you. I make it a point to connect with people who truly do want to change their lives. And if you do want to change your life, I can help. Message me here on Facebook. Or something to that effect. You get the idea. You can write exactly that if you want, or you can put in your own words, simply saying, hey, connect with me, I want to help you. Make yourself available. Half the people, no, probably about a third of the people that I've sponsored off of Facebook ads reached out to me first and sent me a message. And I replied to them and said, oh, tell me more about that. Oh, well, this will solve your problem. Here, go here and buy this. Buy the blog. But I gave another step and I asked a question. What's your real problem? What is it specific for you? Why is it that you want to change? What is it that you want to do? What's your goal? And it works. Because even that personal touch is what people want too. That's why travel agents right now, funny enough, are on the rise again. Now, some people argue that they're making a comeback. I'm like, well, okay, maybe. But it's because people are missing that high touch, that engagement, that personal service, that one-on-one attention to detail when someone needs someone to talk to and to vent to, and you may be the only person they've come across in recent history that knows how to solve their problems. Because the rest of their friends, at their job, at their profession or their career or anything else, is telling them the same things they need in order to stay stuck right where they're at. Show me your 5 closest friends and average their income, and I bet you that's your income. So yeah, as you all just think about your 5 closest friends and how much they make, add that up, average it out, you probably make the average of that. Funny how that works, huh?
You need to make more money, Chris, so I can make more money.
Yeah. Well, here's a confession for you guys. Because I don't care, obviously. I've been really transparent and open with people a lot. But, some of you were watching the coaching tonight with Dave. the team building formula coaching. And he was talking once again about that clock. And he was saying that, at noon, at high noon, you're somewhere on that clock, somewhere. And at high noon, that's when everything's good. You're on top of the world. You've had success, and you even get to a point where everything, you're just on top of the world. And then you move down to 3 o'clock. I think I'm doing that right for you people to see. I'm doing it in reverse. 3 o'clock. And that's where you get cocky, and that's also because you get kind of arrogant, like, hey, I've had this success. And I've been a victim of that, right? It's just a part of my nature, the way I'm built. And so I know something works. I'm like, this works, do this, right? And I got to be like, hold on, this may not be the only way, right? And I've had to atone for that. And then also at 3 o'clock comes being comfortable. You get comfortable. And like Dave said, sometimes they get comfortable and they stop working, or they don't market anymore because they've had so much momentum. And what happens is over time, and you've seen a lot of this in Empower because of all of the major shifts and problems and issues that we've had to overcome, we've seen a lot of dips in income from everyone. I mean, I'll be totally transparent here, guys. Like, I mean, my income has gone down to even where it was even like $5,000. I didn't do anything all month, wasn't doing anything, off traveling, doing stuff, didn't work, didn't get any upgrades or anything, and just it was like, the residual of everything from the $2,500 was like, I only made like $5,000 in 1 month. I'm not used to that. And I was like, well, crap, I got to pay bills, like that's happened. And it's a humbling process. And so then I know I go work and I can go make, I can go double and triple that easily because I know how to do it. But the issue is what I'm talking about is, you get comfortable. And if you get comfortable for too long, then all of the mechanisms that got you to where you are start to fall apart because there's an element there that you need to pay attention to always. And so then that takes you to a fall to where you're down at 6. So now you're from 3 down to 6, and 6 is where people join new companies. Most people. They're at rock bottom. They don't have any money. They're not making any money, and they need a new thing because they remember what it was like to be at 12 when things were riding high. They were high on the hog. Money was coming in from left and right. You didn't even know really how it was coming so fast or where it was coming from because you had momentum, right? And it's a leveraged thing. Beautiful thing when it happens. Learned a lot. Know how to sustain that a lot better now than I used to. And so at 6 o'clock, you're at rock bottom. But for those of you that push past the rock bottom where you're in survival mode, like you are right now, Michael, where you push past that and it takes longer and it's the toughest time and you're mucking through the mud and everything's hard and everything's difficult and you can't seem to catch a break. But what I realized when I was at that place is focus, focus, focus was the only thing that got me out of it. Focus, 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 being totally honest with myself. And I'm not saying you're not, Michael, because I believe you. But I would just encourage all of you out there, be honest with myself and be honest with yourself about the time that you have or any other reason that you're saying you can't have success right now. And look at that again and go, am I doing everything I can about that? Am I really going to accept that that's the reason why I can't? Or is that a challenge to somehow overcome? Am I going to give up and just accept the fact that that's the thing that's stopping me? So the next time when someone asks you, hey, have you done anything with that little online deal, that little internet deal? You say, no, I haven't made any money yet. Or you can say, you know what, actually, I've made an extra $500 this month. And some of them are so jealous, they'll be like, oh, only 500. And then you ask them, what would $500 extra dollars do for you this month? And they probably say, oh, that, I'd be able to get paid up on all of my bills, put gas in the tank in the car. And so just be honest with yourself about that. And the funny thing is, I'm full-time, but I can look back at how I got comfortable, and because I wasn't hungry anymore and I wasn't focused anymore, I was working a couple hours a day and spending the rest of my time doing other stuff. And when at a time when I knew I should start working some more. And there was a lot of days I didn't work at all. I got too comfortable. You can get comfortable, but you can't get too comfortable. And so I got comfortable and had to humble myself for that. And now I'm back up on the rise again. Recreated myself. Amy's recreated herself. We recreated the team, Next Level Mastermind. We've got new energy coming back. It's awesome to see everybody's videos coming in, intention videos. It energizes me to see that. That's like, honestly, that's what it was. I saw those videos tonight. I was like, screw that. I'm getting on a hangout. I got to connect with everyone. I gotta connect. I got to engage here. Like, they're out there. And so as a servant leader, I want to serve. So my only thing is making sure that I don't serve too much like we did before, where we gave people too much and not enough time to implement it, and not enough, structure to be able to work within everything we taught them. We just, 3 days a week, we had the 90-day challenge call, we had the hangout, and then we had the all-in call. And it's like, when did you have time to market? So I don't even know why I said that, but I did. So it's I got comfortable. That's the point. And it's worse, I think, than being at 6 o'clock, because at 6 o'clock you can look up and see light at the end of the tunnel, and you're hungry. And if you're hungry enough, you realize you've got to find a way to get out of it. And you're going to focus and do that. 3 o'clock, you feel helpless. You feel kind of powerless, like, wow, this is slipping away. I've got to do something about this, but it's slipping away quicker than I can do something about it. So it's a tough feeling. But we all go through it. And the thing that I've learned from it is to stay even through all of that, and learned a lot. Grew more in this last year than I have in probably 3-4 years. And I thought I grew more the year before. And maybe that may just be my age, because I've had people older tell me that that's happens every year as you get into your 30s. That may be the case. All I know is from my experience what I've learned here. And so what I'm saying to you is, are you too comfortable, or are you hungry enough? Which one is it? Because I'm hungry again. I'm placing ads and doing stuff again, because I know I need to be an example. And we need to get these case studies going for Next Level Mastermind, so people see this stuff, see that it's real, and it works. And we know it works. We just got to go do it. And the same I'm saying for you. So I'm going to go work. I'm going to go to work. Are you guys going to go to work? Go write a story. Put it on your blog even, and have a link go to a capture page. And then post the link of your blog post on Facebook. I'm actually going to test that too, because I've done that in certain ways to get engagement to a page and get shares, and it worked, but not always, not a story ad the way I do this now. So that may be a way actually, Amy, to get around where iPass isn't, Facebook isn't checking the capture page, because you're already going to a main site, and if it's your blog, it may work. So if it's domain mapped and it's not a Power Network, then you could put it on there. So domain mapping, or the cool domains that are coming with a Power Network, you can use, because we have specialty domains you can put your blog on that aren't your own website domain that you bought. You can just use one of the 10 or 12 or 15 or 20 that are going to be there available. So we may be able to use that strategy too. But like I said, that takes time, because we have to have that fully implemented. We have to have the blog ready to go for people to use. So this is why things have taken time. This is why things haven't happened so quickly in the Next Level Mastermind, is because there's things with iPass that were being developed, and with Empower, they're still in a transition stage where they're getting all the stuff set up to relaunch. So more is going to come. What has happened in the last month is not indicative of what's going to happen in the next month. It's going to be a lot more happening here. So hold on tight.
Stuff's going to transfer over from your blog. So if you're blogging now, it's all going to move over onto the new blog. And when I do a story, I always put it on my blog. I figure, what the hell? It's like free exposure, on my blog. It's more content on my blog. So I almost always put it on my blog too. And then, you can post, like Chris said, you can point people. Andrea does it for me, but you can do it yourself, like where you just post like a little blurb about what your blog post is about with a link back to your blog, and then the capture page link is in your blog post. And I mean, I have capture page links in all my blog posts, and I promote all of them on Facebook, like just on my regular profile. So I would say if you're going to take the time to write a story, it might as well be a blog post too. And sometimes I do it the other way around too, where I write a blog post and I'm like, well, this could be a story ad. And then I just go and throw it on Facebook and see if it converts. Same thing, you know, like.
So I want to ask you, Michael, a question. After seeing me break this down simply, what are your feelings and thoughts on that? Because you got to see the full training over a day, and you saw this here that was done in like 20 minutes or 15 minutes. Does this make sense to you? Any questions about it? Your thoughts on it?
It totally makes sense. And you know what? I think you mentioned one thing, Chris, about it's really that simple. And I've definitely been one that is guilty of overcomplicating the heck out of everything. So I think just following along with the outline that you've laid out, and just putting it into action, you know, that's really all that it is. And keep it simple, and that's it. So
Sweet. Thank you, man. Awesome. Yeah, Amy, this is a little simpler than what I taught at Next Level, huh?
I love it. I took a couple pages of notes tonight just to, like, I feel like somebody put it in the comments too, like I could write stories all day long now. Like I feel for me, that's kind of how I feel. I'm like, this is the simplicity of it makes it easier for me to feel like because I have, like I just said, I have 2 stories that I want to write like tomorrow. And before I was thinking, well, there's no way I could do 2 stories in one day because there's so like much to do. But now I kind of feel like, oh yeah, I can. It's really not that complicated.
Shireen, it's good to see you here on the Hangout. It's really cool to see you back in here and commenting and everything. I like that. I like, you know, Amy, how, you know, somebody said here, you know, I need to learn how to write my story. Okay, where is it? Like, yeah, I can write stories all day long, you know? That's awesome. Love that. And that's what I was hoping to accomplish here, because, you know, if you have this, then you can go write stories and then come to the Next Level Mastermind Intensive and get the full thing where we teach you all of the other dimensions to this, and you can make them so much better, you know? But right now, this is what it takes. It can be that simple. This is like the 90-10 rule. Like 90% of it is this. The other 10% you'll learn, you know, the Next Level Mastermind Intensive, if you choose to go to that, that would be where you learn all the other stuff that helps. But this is the core of it. You can do a lot from this right here. And like I said, this is universal. It's not just Facebook. You know, you can do this on LinkedIn. You can do it on your blog, like Amy does. You can do this on ads. You can do this by using a long copy capture page where you tell the story on the capture page and you place pay-per-click ads on Bing or Yahoo or the one in the same now. If
One
you
of the new templates is just exactly that. It doesn't have sidebars. It's for long
Yep.
story, you know, with links within it and stuff so that there's no distraction. So you can use your blog as basically a long copy capture page.
Mm-hmm. That's exactly it. And Ryan Dice and some of the top guys, their marketing conversion summit, they talked about how quick thing here for your blog is they took their ads and they took their same exact ad, same text and everything, same design, they put it on a capture page and they tested it. Then they took the same exact capture page and they took the same design and everything and they posted it on a blog post on a blog where it had tabs and social share buttons and a sidebar. But they really minimized the sidebar so there weren't too many distractions. Here's what happened. The capture page did get a higher opt-in rate. It was like a 47% opt-in rate or something like that. Or it was 37, I think, because they do cold traffic. So it was like it was a higher opt-in rate. But then the blog over here, because of the ability to share the blog and the engagement, the people that came through that funnel, there were people that read it and liked it and shared it on Facebook or tweeted it or put it on Pinterest or LinkedIn or whatever. They shared it, so it got free exposure. Their conversion rate was lower. It was like 5% lower for the blog post, but their cost per lead acquisition and cost per sale acquisition was cut in half with the blog, because there were so many more people sharing the blog post of the story and many people reading it. This was the same thing that happened with me with my Facebook ad story. People liked and shared the post on Facebook. And so my cost per lead was like $1 a lead, when had I not gotten all that sharing, it would have been $2 a lead. And those same exact structures and ads I used, without getting shares, I was getting $2 a lead. So I know I tested both with the same ad. And so that engagement is important. And so if you put it on a blog post, you may have a little bit of a less opt-in rate because there's more distractions, and people will look up and see the tab that says, something, something, and they're like, oh, let me see that. I don't know if I'm ready for this, but I'll click on that instead. And they want to know more, which I think that actually was better, because they're still clicking around your blog and learning more about you, which means they weren't ready to opt in anyway. But you got a chance to get them more warmed up by seeing more of your content, seeing another post on the sidebar and clicking on that title of that post, because that one seems appealing to them. So now, personally for me, I haven't tested these, but doing stuff on my blog works too. So, but I know that the best in the world have done that, and that's the difference. So don't be afraid to put this story right on your blog and even run traffic to it. So just to know.
Hey guys, we're back. I hope you enjoyed that video. Yeah, I know it was like 40 minutes, but you know what? I'm sure you learned a lot. I'm sure you now know by now that you're, understanding how to create these stories, and you actually understand that, this is how it actually happens naturally if you just tell a story about something and you're talking about the benefit of the problem that something solves, a problem that's solved and the benefits of it and how it works and how people can use it and all that stuff. It's similar to even testimonials, but it's, in a way that can reach anyone. And so what you need to do now is we've given you 3 things. So let's recap real quick. We've given you system-based responsiveness versus personality-based responsiveness. And very important difference. And how do you get to personality-based responsiveness? Well, you've learned some of that in the last 2 videos, which the second one was levels of awareness and understanding how to target the right audience. And once you have them targeted, how to actually speak to them, how to develop the messaging, how to reach out to them, how to get their attention, how to show them and get them to move through the levels of awareness down to where they're going to buy from you. Now, the best part is that in this last 40 minutes, the meat of it all, I gave you the story, and that's how you can essentially sell to any level through a story, because people love to see how the story turns out. And when you learn how to tell those effectively, you can do so as you just learned in this last video. So now here's the next thing I have for you. I want to show you something. I'm going to give you, in the next video, is going to be a quick 12-minute training about how you put that stuff together and where it goes in the process of your funnel or your campaign. And I'm going to teach you how to put a campaign together. I'm going to outline it out. I'm actually going to have all the stuff about how it's outlined, what needs to be messaged and said in each one of these, and then you can go off and use that for yourself. Or if you're the type of person that wants to be able to get some help with that, or you have done it and you've done what you can with it, but you need some extra help, you need some more guidance, I can also show you on that page how you can get help with that and how we can help you do that as well, and get you a fully working campaign that you can get on push button to finally, after you set it all up, boom. And you can start plugging traffic and people and your audience into that, and it starts working for you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, while you sleep, because this stuff is going and working for you on the internet 24/7. So that's what we're going to do for you. So just click the link below. Oh, and even maybe a little bit below this, it's going to be even a little further through some summary and writing I did about this particular video. And then you're going to click on the link. It's going to take you to where you can find out quick 12-minute video. I know you watched a lot today. Just stay with me and you're going to learn how to build a campaign for yourself. We'll see you then.